dreams to help you with your career?
Well, when I first started out, I had two interests. I had interest in the IT career, telecommunications, and that side of the career as an engineer. And then I always had interest in dreams. And being a Gemini, I decided I couldn't pick, so I did both. At the same time, I had a daytime job in engineering and IT, information technology, fiber optics and stuff, which was all exciting. And I was writing books on fiber optics at the time. I also taught, I got some training in Gestalt therapy and a number of other humanistic therapies, and taught courses at, it's called Richland, I think it's Richland University, now Richland College at the time, when I gathered a couple other therapists to teach with me. And so that started my dream career. And I always kept that going on that side by teaching at universities and things like that, and doing research while I, had a paying job. But I was able to, actually, because of the dream, quit early, retire early, and now for the last 20 years did nothing but dream work the entire time. And so what the dream did, I was a vice president of American Express for a while, and they were completely restructuring the company. And so everybody theoretically lost their job, but then they would just replace you in new jobs. And to most of us who were very valuable people, engineers are, that was an insult. And so, except that, and I had another job inside the company in New York. So we were going to have to move anyway. But I decided that, I couldn't leave. I couldn't walk out the door and join it, because other companies, wanted me, but I couldn't leave because I was afraid of losing my retirement and the golden umbrella kind of thing. And so all I would do is look for positions inside the company, and stubbornly. In fact, I gave up the position I eventually got somewhere else. I gave up the first time, and I told them just go after my boss. They fired him. And so, because I knew I was going to stay in the company. But one night, when I was deep in the midst of this, feeling really dark, I had this dream where I was in this boat. I was a passenger of a boat, a dark underground river, standing in the windows looking for a way out. So there was a metaphor for what I was. I was in the dark boat. I wanted to stay inside the company, but I was looking for a way out of this situation. And this went on for hours, dream after dream. And all of a sudden, a voice behind me said, "You can walk out the door." I go, "What?" And the voice kept insisting, "You can walk out the door." I said, "There's no door. I don't see a door." And all of a sudden, a door appears in the front of the boat. And then I started arguing with this voice about walking out. He says, "Yes, you can walk out the door." And so I walk out the door of the front of the boat, and all of a sudden, the boat comes out of the ice cave. It was a dark ice cave we were in, into this beautiful land of, of singing in the air, and it was bright sunlight. And it came up on the shore, and it hit this rock, and the rock rang like a big bell. And I woke up out of that. And so basically, the dream was telling me I can walk out the door. I don't have to stay with this company. And when I woke up, I said, something's changed. I felt differently, even though I actually had no idea the dream had anything about my situation, even though the metaphors were there. And so but on the way to work, there's a song called "Calling All Angels." I don't know if you've ever heard it or not, but this song came on the radio, "Calling All Angels," and I started singing it to myself, almost like a little prayer, because it goes, "Calling all angels, help me through this one. We don't know how it goes. And all of a sudden, between that and the dream I'd had, I was saying something has really changed. And so I got into work, I sat down on my desk, and 10 minutes later, I get this call on the phone. And remember, I had told this company that because I wasn't sure who the company was. It was just a search firm that was coming after me. And I said I refused the job. They said, we don't want your boss, who I told them to go after. I said, they want you. And I said, well, tell me, what company is it? They said, it's IBM. They want you to be the vice president of IBM telecommunications. And I'm going, oh my God, they don't know anything about telecommunications. I'd been fighting with them for years because they were one of my vendors. And I said, I'd love to go there and try to change things from the inside. And so, and they said, we'll be there tomorrow morning to interview you. And that was it. And so I walked out the door. And yeah, the weird thing is I never equated the dream the night before to that situation until much afterwards. So the change actually happened in the dream. And I think that's one of the things that most people can take away from their dreams is when you have a dream, it's truly a learning experience going on in the dream. And the change actually happens in the dream, whether you recall it or not, or whether you work on it. It's better to work on it because then you can put a little conscious oomph
You can
behind
make
it.
more changes then, you know,
Yeah.
help
Yeah, if
implement
you
it.
don't
I know
screw it
what
up.
you mean. Sometimes I'll have a dream and you just wake up feeling different, like there's been a shift.
Yeah, that's because it really has. It's
Yeah.
your brain, your dreaming brain is a problem-solving machine. And it's the learning that takes place there is just a part of a continuum. This was Ernest Hartman's theory that waking is only part of the learning process. The rest of it happens in the dream. And then the next day when the dream takes effect, you act on it. So it's a continuum of learning that takes place. And it really does happen, whether you call the dream work on it or not. So it's really refreshing to know that self-healing is happening.
Yeah, definitely. So I try to explain this to people as well, and I try to get people remembering more dreams and trying to work with them and seeing the power behind the dreams. So these sorts of stories that you're sharing are so helpful for sort of opening the minds of people and having them want to remember more dreams. Do you remember like a dream every night, or how often are you
Well, I do
remembering?
now, but it's and I'm not well. Most people don't remember their dreams, and your brain wasn't built to remember your dreams. They really, it really was. It's doing its job in a part of the brain, mainly the limbic system, some frontal portions of the brain, but the part of your brain that's normally relates to consciousness and memory, episodic memory, is pretty well dampened during sleep. So your brain wasn't meant to remember it. But one of the nice things about getting older is we have more micro awakenings, during the night. And when you have micro awakenings, it gives you the opportunity to remember every dang dream. Now, I don't work on
Yes.
them, you know, I'm too lazy to work on all those
You won't
dreams.
write them all down. It'd take too
But
long.
but the ones that are amazing, like that heart dream and those other ones, I definitely write those down. And that's what I use to teach from too, is those mine and dreams of others. We did a book for IASD book called Dreams That Change Our Lives. And that one, I can't remember how many authors there are in it because I collected a number of authors on different subjects that they were experts in. And then we went out and got hundreds of dreams from just our members and things like that changed their lives and pasted that book together. So I've, between that and my own dreams, I've got a lot to teach from.
It's fascinating. I could sit here forever because even in dreams, you can be years in dreams. You could have a dream that lasts 4 years, but really it's only one night. So I wonder if you did try to tell the stories of all of your dreams, how long that would actually take.
Oh, wow. I usually have to call them out because I'm also belong to Haden Institute and on their staff. And they're usually a keynote. This time I'm a keynote, and they asked me what I wanted to do a keynote, and it just spit it out. I hadn't even thought about it. I said, dreams, the wisdom of our soul. And then I said, what did I get myself into? And so I collected together all these different dreams, and I realized that we dream at these various levels of existence. Every night dreams, your brain is doing that learning process, doing this problem solving. It's trying to take stuff from the day and trying to look at it in a different way. It's usually the emotional aspect. It doesn't work on the memory. The memories don't change, but it works on your emotional reaction, your emotional memory, how you perceive the event. Tries to show you different ways of looking at it, different ways of dealing with it. And then you wake up in the morning with this wisdom of the dream. In doing that, appears like a wisdom, guidance. And so you wake up in the morning feeling very differently. And that's the function of the brain. But then I realized that, because I was also a student of Jungian psychology, and I teach that a lot. In fact, the Haden Institute is primarily Jungian, is that Jungian talked about archetypal imagery. And this is imagery that doesn't relate to your waking life. It relates to changes in your psyche, changes in your personality that are longer term throughout your life, trying to bring you back to the whole person you were meant to be. And so that's a different kind of dream. And so then I talk about that. But then I realize there's another level that doesn't fit either one of those models. And that's some of the stuff we've been talking about here. What happens when you get drawn up into the crystal blue cosmos and things like that? And what I say is, this is the soul dreaming. When the soul dreams, it goes beyond the physical. It goes beyond time and space. It goes beyond into the realm of spirit and allows all these different things to happen. So, in putting together a presentation, I've learned that myself, that hey, there are these three levels of dreaming. One's the brain, one is the psyche, and the last one is the soul. And the soul, when the soul dreams, it goes on forever. It does not pass away.
Wow. That's a great way to explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, wow.
I'm glad I'm glad I came up with that topic, because I discovered a lot myself. Well, it was all there. It was just discovering how it fits together that makes it really exciting.
That was probably the help of your tarot vision lady that came in.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. It's been amazing speaking to you. I can't wait to come to the IASD conference and see your talks and workshops. It's going to be amazing. It's been such an honor to be able to meet you beforehand and interview you. Thank you for coming today.
Yeah, well, thank you for the interview. It's been very interesting. You're probably one of the best interviewers I've ever had.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's amazing.
You listen and you ask things that are important.
Thanks. I'm
Remember when
just obsessed, so that's probably why. Love dreaming.
I remember when I used to go on the radio and TV. I still on the radio in its various form, but used to go on TV shows. And the first question they would ask is, what does it mean to have your teeth falling out? And what
Oh,
does it
yeah.
mean? So it's good to be interviewed by somebody who's got a brain.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I do get that a lot too. I've been on the radio a couple of times and they just want you to interpret dreams straight away. Or they'll be like, this is one of our
Exactly.
listeners' dreams. What does it mean? And I'm like, well, can I speak to the listener? Like, I
Yeah,
can't
right.
tell you.
Yeah, I
Oh,
just
that's
basically tell them right out. I said, you cannot analyze a dream without the information coming from the dreamer.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's
There's
very
no,
important.
all of the, other than archetypal imagery, all the imagery is formed by your own associations, and our associations can be different than somebody else. Yeah, there's something.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much. I'll end it at that.
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. It was so nice to meet you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.